السلام عليكم تي والله ممكن طبعا فرحتك مرحبا دانما هم انتبهنا هم واقعتهم جنست ممكن دني بروجكت آيلا مشروع استاع كرمتك مي بابا خاص رسميات واقعتهم رسمي شرف ركوتوا من بروجكت رسمي کو افتتاح کوتوانی وراجع رئيس الجمهورية دكتور محمد مويزو يمنيك فان ميهار ميبني هما مي رسميات كوريا دا صراحة ودين فا كودا واقعت كولك تيريغا مي رسميات تان من انتبهنا هم واقعتهم جنستينا بروجكت آيلا مي مشروع کی راجع SEZ के कान के दशुं sustainable township mi taraggi kurmatta me kuriya genda furatama mashruka fahaga kullave mi mashru mi kuriya gendani noonu ataluka de fading hikkagen kuriya genda mashruki gotuka gotun tafatu rattakka taraggi kurve mi project ki faturikam ge mulin sinata hasagote gade me hitani mi taraggi ge masaketto kahimanage kuriya gendeve mi daira en kuriya gendeve war tafatu muhimmu mashruka ve genda anikan sarkarun fahaga kurafa mi mashruki ge gena kan hasate ka $50 million investment
من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم صدق الله العظيم.
His Excellency Dr. Mohammad Muiz, President of the Republic of Maldives, Honorable Ministers of the Cabinet, Honorable Members of the Parliament of the Noon Atoll constituency, members of the diplomatic international community, respected partners from Isla and Crystal Holdings, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. I am Mariam Maini Riaz and I will be your host for the ceremony. It is my honor to welcome you all to this landmark occasion, the groundbreaking ceremony of Project Isla, the very first sustainable township investment under the Special Economic Zones framework. We began our proceedings today with the recitation of the Holy Quran by Mr. Ali Zaid from Noon Holudu. On behalf of the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade and Crystal Holdings, it is my great privilege to welcome you to this historic moment that marks the formal commencement of one of the most ambitious private sector-led developments in the Maldives, a project that captures the essence of our nation's next chapter of growth. Project Isla is not merely a construction project, it is a bold statement of confidence in our economic future. Developed under the Special Economic Zones framework and facilitated by the Board of Investments, this initiative embodies the vision of His Excellency, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz, to build a diversified, resilient, and high valuation, sustainability, and global partnership. This township represents a new model of development where tourism, renewable energy, healthcare, education, and modern agriculture converge to create a self-sustaining ecosystem of opportunity. It is also a reflection of how responsible policy and visionary private investment can work hand in hand to redefine what is possible for our islands and our people. Ladies and gentlemen, to share the developer's perspective and take us closer to the vision behind this landmark township, it is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Petar Kirstik, Chief Executive Officer of Project Isla, to deliver the welcome remarks. Mr. Kirstik.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Dr. Muiz, honorable ministers, honorable members of Parliament representing Nunu Atoll, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, leaders from the Maldivian business community, distinguished guests, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to you all. Your Excellency, Mr. President, it is an honor to welcome you here today. We are incredibly grateful to have you presiding over this momentous milestone. Furthermore, the presence of so many members of government, Parliament, the diplomatic community is deeply meaningful to us, but also reflects the national importance of what we mark today. This ceremony represents more than the commencement of construction, with attendees from the highest level of government, with all of our partners, architects. We have Mr. Jean-Michel Gatti joining us, our master planner and architect, all our contractors, consultants, lawyers. This ceremony is symbolic of the incredible cooperation, collaboration, but above all, the vision that was required to get us here. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Sustainable Township concept is your initiative and your vision. It reflects forward-looking leadership and the courage to evolve the country's development model in a thoughtful and deliberate way. We are deeply grateful for your support and for the clarity of direction your leadership has provided throughout this whole process. I would also like to extend my sincerest gratitude to Minister Said, who from the very beginning has championed this project with discipline and unwavering commitment to excellence. Minister Said, as chairman of the Board of Investment, he and his fellow board members guided us through a rigorous and transparent process. And as complex and as long as that process was, this has only bolstered our confidence, not only in the outcome, but also in the strength and credibility of the Maldivian investment framework. As a foreign investor making what is to be the single largest private sector investment in the history of the Maldives, nearly $800 million US, I can say with conviction that the Maldives offers an incredibly business-friendly and stable investment climate. The professionalism of the institutions, the openness of the dialogue which we had, and the long-term thinking of the government make the Maldives a compelling place to invest responsibly and, as you can see, at scale. We believe that the Sustainable Township Initiative will usher in a new era of investment, one that is more integrated, more resilient, and more inclusive. We are proud that Isla Maldives is the first project to take this important step. We will shortly be showing a video presentation of the project. However, allow me to share just a few highlights that we are particularly proud of. The township will have a hospitality academy in partnership with a leading international institution, training future generations of Maldivian hoteliers and leaders. The project will also boast a state-of-the-art medical facility, positioning us, this project, but also the Maldives as a premier wellness destination for global travelers. And finally, we're particularly proud that the project will be powered by at least 60% renewable energy, doing our part to ensure that Ayla and the Maldives can be enjoyed by future generations. While this is a private sector project, we're very conscious that its impact is public. Our goal is not only to build a landmark destination, but to contribute meaningfully to the national story of Maldives. Following this ceremony, construction will be underway, and we're firmly on track to complete the project and open the Isla Sustainable Township in the summer of 2028. We very much look forward to welcoming you all back for that occasion. Your Excellency, Mr. President, distinguished guests, thank you again for your presence, your trust, and your partnership. We are humbled by the opportunity to build this extraordinary country, and we are committed to doing so with integrity, care, and respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirstic, for those insightful remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, to further illustrate the scale, ambition, and long-term vision behind this development, we now invite you to view a short video presentation introducing Project Ayla, a sustainable township designed to set new benchmarks for integrated living, environmental stewardship, and smart urban planning in the Maldives. May I invite you to direct your attention to the screens.
In the heart of Nunu Atoll, a bold new chapter in the development journey of Maldives begins with Project Ayla, the single largest private investment ever undertaken in the country's history. Anchored in President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's Vision 2040, Project Ayla represents a leap forward, a living example of a diversified, sustainable economy where innovation, investment, and opportunity converge. As the first special economic zone licensed sustainable township, Ayla embodies a model of growth beyond conventional tourism, connecting real estate development with long-term residency, investment security, and lifestyle opportunity. Project Ayla exemplifies the synergy between residency by investment and real estate development, a cornerstone of the nation's diversification strategy. Maldives is opening up new pathways for global investors to contribute to its growth story, bringing capital, innovation, and lasting partnerships to our shores. Maldives is building a reputation for robust policy, smart infrastructure, and an economy ready for sustainable innovation. Ayla reflects this new strength, a self-contained township powered by 60% renewable energy, advanced waste management, and modern agriculture. At its core, Ayla is a community for the future, featuring world-class healthcare and education facilities that will position the Maldives as a regional hub for wellness and learning. With an investment of nearly $800 million, this landmark township transforms Nunu Atoll into a beacon of sustainable progress and regional connectivity, setting the foundation for the next growth frontier of the Maldives. The groundbreaking of Ayla marks more than the start of a township. It marks the realization of a national vision, a future where the Maldives moves confidently beyond its traditional boundaries, driven by innovation, sustainability, and opportunity for all. Project Ayla, inspired by the natural beauty of the Maldives, strengthened by world-class competency, and guided by President's Vision 2040, shaping the nation's next era of prosperity.
It is now my honor to invite His Excellency Mohammed Saeed, Minister of Economic Development and Trade and Chairperson of the Board of Investments, to deliver his remarks and reflect on the government's developmental agenda and how projects like ILA are shaping a new model of long-term resilient growth for the Maldives.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Your Excellency, President Dr. Mohammed Moise, distinguished ministers, cabinet colleagues, honorable members of parliament representing Noon Atoll, Excellencies, members of the diplomatic corps, senior government officials, Mr. Petter, Chief Executive Officer of Project ILA, Mr. Abdul Rahim, Managing Director of Crystal Holding, members of the executive management of the Blue Rock, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning. When I was first directed by the President to engage on this project, the guidance was clear and unequivocal. The vision Blue Rock presented at the outset was to be realized in its entirety, in a manner consistent with our national priorities and long-term objectives. That expectation became the foundation of this journey. From the outset, the Blue Rock presented for Project ILA was ambitious, not only in scale, but in substance. What mattered to the administration was whether that vision could be fully realized in alignment with the national priorities, our sustainability commitment, and our long-term economic direction envisioned by the President. Today, as we break ground on Project ILA, we do so with confidence that those expectations have been met. We stand on the shores of Noon Atoll, breaking ground on a new chapter of the Maldivian economy. We are here to witness the commencement of the physical work of Project ILA, the very first sustainable township development authorized under the Special Economic Zone framework. Project ILA is not simply a development. It represents a new way of thinking about growth, tourism, and how we shape the future of the country. At its core, this project is about diversification with purpose. The very nature of tourism is consistently changing, evolving, in an increasingly competitive and highly diverse global landscape. Creativity is no longer a choice, it is a strategic necessity. Travel behavior is changing faster than ever before, shaped by shifting lifestyle, rising expectations, and a growing demand for meaningful, high-value experience. Today's travelers are more informed, more selective, and more discerning. Around the world, countries are strengthening their visitor economies by capitalizing on what truly sets them apart, their unique strengths and irreplaceable assets. The Maldives is defined by such rarity. What we offer cannot be replicated or manufactured. It is remarkable convergence of geography, nature, and exclusivity, where 1% land is supported by 99% ocean, an irreplaceable natural asset of global value, where nature has perfected luxury. Building on this foundation, we are evolving our tourism model to meet demands alongside our iconic resort legacy and the growth of guest house tourism projected Projects, guest house tourism projects such as Isla allows to elevate the visitor experience further towards lifestyle, wellness, education, healthcare, and long-term engagement with destination that inspires trust. In doing so, it elevates Maldives from being seen only as a holiday destination, to being recognized as a place to live, invest, and build long-term value. Ladies and gentlemen, the impact of this shift is significant. From an economic perspective, projects like Isla expands the contribution of tourism room nights. They create demand across multiple sectors: construction, retail, healthcare, education, logistics, and professional services. They generate skilled employment, encourage technology transfer, and deepen domestic value chains. Our broader economic indicators already reflect this resilience. In 2025, despite global headwinds, the Maldives economy grew by 5.4%. We welcomed a record 2.24 million visitors, demonstrating that sound policy choices, especially those taken in the public interest, do not undermine investor confidence or tourism performance. This growth feeds directly into our economy. Our retail sector, in particular, benefits from a thriving tourism market, creating space for high-quality Maldivian products and services to reach global customers. Excellencies, to understand the magnitude of today's event, we must look back at the landscape President Dr. Muiz inherited 2 years ago. We did not simply inherit an economy, we inherited a critical status marked by years of unsustainable practices. The president took office facing a staggering $8 billion in public debt, a crushing weight for any small nation. Behind the scenes, the treasury was a deep hole with over $639 million in unpaid dues to private companies for services already rendered. For years, the previous administrations had relied on the dangerous habit of printing money, printing more between 2018 and 2023 than in the previous 40 years combined, which systematically devalued our currency and drained our reserves. But leadership is about making hard choices. One of the first priorities of President Muiz's administration was to modernize and strengthen our tax framework. Objective was clear: to ensure that we introduce social or public health measures, our fiscal base remained resilient. That strategy was worked. In 2025, the tax revenues reached 25 billion rupiah, an increase of 13% compared to the previous year. This was achieved through economic reform that were carefully sequenced and aligned with long-term stability, not short-term experience. Another critical impact lies in foreign exchange management. Prior to recent reforms, the Maldives was losing approximately 1.8 billion rupiah annually in foreign exchange on imports tied to non-productive consumption. Redirecting such outflows back into the domestic economy strengthens our reserves and allows us to prioritize imports that enhance productivity, resilience, and national output. Distinguished guests, this brings me to human capital. With the quarter real GDP of 26.46 billion recorded in the third quarter of 2025, our economy relies heavily on labor-intensive sectors such as tourism and retail. Policies that improve workforce health, reduce productivity losses, and extend working lives are not social policies alone, but they are economic strategies. By investing in healthier generations, skills development, and education elements embedded within projects like ILA, we are reclaiming economic value otherwise lost in absenteeism, illness, and premature exit from the workforce. This is essential if we are to meet our vision, President's Vision 2040 ambition of becoming a US $20 billion economy. Beyond economies, the social impact of this project is equally important. Project ILA integrates healthcare access, education and training, community uplifting, and food security into the development model. These are not add-ons, they are conditions. This reflects a clear policy direction. Large-scale investments must deliver measurable benefits to society, not operate in isolation from it. Ladies and gentlemen, on the investment front, we saw through a period marked by policy uncertainty, investor hesitancy, and heightened global volatility. Under the leadership of President Dr. Moise, we choose to address these challenges directly and decisively. We modernized our investment framework by revising the foreign investment law for the first time in 40 years. We reactivated and strengthened the special economic zone framework to enable large-scale investments such as sustainable township designed to diversify the economy and support long-term high-value economic activity. It is important to be clear on one point. These reforms are not about giving away public revenue. Incentives under the special economic zone framework are targeted, conditional, and time-bound. They are granted only in return for large-scale investments that deliver measurable economic, social, and environmental return. Core taxes, including general service tax, land lease rent, and applicable sectoral lives remain fully in place. What we have done is to align incentives with outcomes, ensuring the public benefit is embedded into private investment. In short, we introduced clear, transparent, and rule-based framework. We reduced discretion and replaced uncertainty with predictability. Most importantly, we restored trust. The fact that we are standing here today with over $800 million in foreign capital committed to our shores is the clearest proof that investor confidence remains at an all-time high. In parallel with these initiatives, the government is working with Henley and partners on the Maldives Pearl Residency Program, our residency by investment framework. Much like the pearl on a string, that program connects large-scale investment and development with long-term residency, supporting projects such as ILA and reinforcing our position as a stable and premium destination for global capital and talent. To the team at Blue Rock and Crystal Holding, thank you for believing in the Maldives. You are the pioneers of this new township model, and your commitment to proving the sustainability and long-term profitability can go hand in hand sets a new benchmark for our nation. We look forward to seeing Project ILA not only rise from the ground, but stand as a model appreciated by the world. To global investors watching us today, our message is clear. Our doors remain open to investments that align with our vision of a resilient, inclusive future. Finally, Excellencies, thank you for the vision that brought us here today. Together, Blue Rock, I would like to once again thank you. And together, we are building a Maldives that is not just a destination for the world, but a powerhouse for our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister, for the inspiring remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the most pivotal segment of today's program, the groundbreaking of Project Ayla. I respectfully invite His Excellency President Dr. Mohammad Muiz to proceed to the stage to officiate the groundbreaking. May I also invite the members of the Board of Investments, together with the representatives of Ayla and Crystal Holdings, to accompany His Excellency. Thank you, Excellency, members of the Board of Investments and representatives of Ayla and Crystal Holdings. This now concludes the official segment of today's program. On behalf of Crystal Holdings and the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, I extend sincere appreciation to His Excellency the President, our distinguished guests, partners, and stakeholders for joining us to commemorate this milestone. Your presence today reflects the shared commitment to turning the vision of Project Ayla into reality, and we thank you for your continued support. Thank you once again, and we wish you a pleasant day ahead.
gina rattake hataregi kurma hamaje ifave project aila mi machruwa ki faturekamge sina sinda fatuko taregi kurmatta kanata ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ಮಿ ಸಿನಾ ತಂಗಿತುರು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆಣಮಟ್ಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರು ಮಿ ಗೆಂಗುಳುವ ಮಹಸ್ಗೆ ದಶುಂ ಕುರಿಯ ಕೆಂದವೆ ವರ ಮುಹಿಮ ಮಶ್ರೂರಿಂಗ್ ಅದಿ ಮಿ SEZ ಗೆ ದಶುಂ ಟೌನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಗೊತ್ತುಗ ಮಿ ತರಗಿ ಕೊರವೆ ಮಿಫದ ಫುರತಮ ಮಶ್ರೂ ಕಂ ವಿಸ್ಫಾಗ ಕೊಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಐಲಾಯಕಿ ತಿನ್ಸತೆಕ ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಮಾಫ್ ಪ್ರವಾಸತೆಕ ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ವರೆ ಅಸತೆಗ $1 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಬೋಡು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟೆ ಮೆ ಮಶ್ರೂಗೆ ದಶುಂ ತರಗಿಗೆ ಗಿನ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆತ್ತಕೆ ಕೊರಿಯ ದಾಣೆ ಏಗತು ಮೀಗ ತೆರೆಗ ಹಮ ಮಿ ಹೌಸಿಂಗ್ ಗೆಣುವತ ಮಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಶುಂ ಮಿ ತರಗಿ ಕುರಾ ಟೌನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಆದಿ ಹಮ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ತಕ ಮೀಗ ಇತುರಂ ಎಡ್ಯುಕೇಷನ್ ದಕಿ ಕಿ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ತಕುಗೆ ಇತುರಂ ಮಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವೆಗೆಂದನಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹಿಂಗಾಣಿ ಗ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಕ ಫಸ್ತೊಳ ಸಿನ್ ಸತ್ತಾಗಿ ಯಾದ ಕೊರನಿ ಹಕತ ಬೇಣು ಕುರಾ ಮಶ್ರೂಗೆ ಗೊತುಕ ಕಂ ಹಮ ಫಾಹಗ ಕೊಲ್ಲ ಮಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಣ್ಮೆ ಬಾಲಾಲ ಇರುಗ මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් වෙගෙන් මිදනි ඉක්තිසාදී ගොතුන් හම බොඩති කුරියරුන්දක රාජල්ලි ಬಿಗೆಂದಾಣ ಮಶ್ರೂರಿಗೆ ಗೊತಕ ಹಸಕ ದೇಹ ಸಾಳಿಸ್ವಣ ಆಹಾರ ದೇವರಾಜ ತರಕಿ ವೆಫವಾ ಕೌಮಕ ಗೆಂದಿ ಮಟ್ಟ ಕಾಸರಕಾರು ಮಿಗೆಂಗಳು ವಾ ತಸವುರ ಬೊಡು ಬಾರಲಿ ಬಿಗೆಂದಾಣ ಮಶ್ರೂರಿಗೆ ಗೊತಕ ಹಮ ಇಕ್ತಿಸಾದಿ ವಜೀರ್ ವೆಸ್ವಣಿ ಫಾಹಗ ಕುರವಾಫಾ ಅದೇ ಮಿ ರಸ್ಮಿಯಾ ತಾಳ್ಮೆಂತಿ ಬೆಫ್ನಾ ಹಮೆಯ ವಗದುಂ ಗೆನಿಸ್ತಮ ಮಿಗೆಂದನಿ ಹಮ ನೋನು ಅತಡುಂ ರಸ್ಮಿಯಾ ಶರಫ್ ಫೆರಿಕೊದ್ದವಾ ಮಿ ಮಶ್ರೂ ರಸ್ಮಿ ಕೊಫಟವಾ ದೇವಾ ಫಣಿ ರೈಸೋ ಜಂಹೂರಿಯ ಆರಿಫ್ಟ ಮೊಹಮ್ಮದ್ ಮುಯಿಜು ಮೆ ಅಸಾಬಂ ಅಲ್ಮೆಂ ಹಮ ಮಿ ರಸ್ಮಿಯಾತ್ ಗೆನ್ಸಿನ್ ಮಟ್ಟ ಗೆನಿಸ್ತಿನ ಲೈವ್ ಕವರೇಜ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲಾಫಕ್ ವೇಲಾಣ ವರ ಪಾಜ ವಿರೋಧ ಕೊಳಕೆದೆ ಅಸ್ಸಲಾಮು ಅಲೈಕುಂ